Hi everyone, and welcome to this pilot episode, I guess, of what I'm calling a raid with Sitoxity. So, this series that I'm trying to put together on a weekly basis, we'll see how it goes, is just going to be basically a single raid of Tarkov, and I'm just going to comment over it live. So, I'm going to start today with a scav run. Idea being that I kind of need money anyway. I'm starting to run a bit low, so let's go into it. Usually for a scav run, I kind of like to go into Interchange. Keeping it on the left hand side because it's kind of nighttime. Might be a bit quieter. At the moment, it's not because there's a task that came out that everyone's trying to do the killer the scav boss on the map 100 times, so it might have people in it, but not. Uh, Essentially, there's no real giant difference between night and day on Interchange once you get inside the mall anyway, so I don't really mind running it nighttime, especially when I'm a scav. So it should be fine. You don't really need night vision or flashlights too much to do it, if you get used to seeing what's inside the mall anyway. Sometimes a flashlight can be useful, so some of the sections inside the mall, because it's quite dark. Uh, and sometimes people can hide in those really dark places, so we'll see how it goes. So essentially, what I'm going to be going over is just kind of like where I'm going, what I'm looting, why I'm looting certain things, and what's going through my head while I'm trying to make money. Hopefully, the raid goes well. Who knows if it will or not. I'm not going to, you know, edit out bad raids and just edit together a good one and stuff like that, because things can go wrong in Tarkov. Nothing's perfect. And if you're a new player and going into something, then you shouldn't expect things to go well for you every time or when you get good at the game, because sometimes things are completely out of your control. So we're in. I know for a fact that we're under idea right now. We're about halfway through the raid. We heard shots over that direction, but it's fine. So when I spawn here, I like to search this little bag and everything around here. I'm going to drop the bandage and the Wilstons, because bandage on its own, not that useful. I can basically stop one bleed and then that's gone. Wilstons I don't need for my quest anymore, so we'll drop that. We're kind of lucky because we started with a grenade. We checked this weapon crate for any nice things. Nothing's really there. So that's a bit unfortunate. We're not going to run around right now because I don't know if there's any people around this store right now. So we'll go under here. Another little weapons box. We do have some armor, so we can survive a hit if we get shot. We finally found something half decent, an ADAR. It's kind of a really good starting weapon. Unfortunately, we can't really aim because there's no re-sight on it. It's about half on the ammo, so maybe around 5 rounds in it. Unfortunately, our gun we started with isn't that great either, so we may need to look to upgrade and stuff like that. Generally, I tried to avoid killing other scavs. Oh. Just because it can cause some problems if you kill some scavs in an area and you don't know how many there are. That little grenade box got us another grenade and a flashbang, so that's not too bad. So, essentially, now it's time to go into the center of the mall. And because of the time, which I'll just bring up again, being like 30 minutes left in the raid, we can kind of risk going to the center a bit more, because around this time of the raid, at least for me, I feel like people are starting to leave or have already gotten out. If the shooting we're hearing starts sounding a bit too close to us, we'll probably try and avoid it, because if I'm right in what I'm thinking, it's an M4, and that's kind of scary. And even though we do have some body armor, it's kind of garbage, so we wouldn't survive long against that. It's kind of risky checking these jackets, but jackets have been kind of good lately, because now they've kind of been buffed for spawning keys. Unfortunately, both of those were empty. But you can get a rare key or here or there from certain certain jackets and getting lucky. So it's useful to check them. This store to my right here is locked. You need a key for it. I believe it's called the MES key. So it's good to check that if it's been open and no one else is in there. You might be able to get some loot in there that people haven't picked up. This shop here, called Voyage, right opposite Mantis, has a weapon crate and a couple jackets. So we can look in here. We don't need mags. We'll take this for the time being, but we'll swap it out. It's worth a little bit of rubles, but nothing that we want to keep. One thing we do want to look for is on these desks sometimes spawns money. On these shelves spawns things, so there's cigarettes there. Again, we've done that quest, so we're not looking for that right now. Check the jacket. A G-phone, that's pretty good money for a single slot item, so we'll take that. But considering we have an army bag, we're gonna kind of want to look for something bigger. Ideally, we want to upgrade it from something that's already dead. And that's back the way we came, so that's kind of worrying. This shop here is a nice little tech store. We actually got a graphics card. That's actually really good for me because I need quite a lot of them. Gas analyzer is also pretty good money. So what we're going to do, let's have a quick look around here. See if we can spot a body. I can't really. So we're going to run this way. Try and make some distance between the shots and ourselves. And we're going to look in this tent just briefly. Because meds and medical supplies can spawn in here. So like here, we've got a morphine and an AI2. So now if we take some damage, we can heal our limbs. And reduce pain. Get that painkiller. Pretty good. It's not terrible so far. This place usually has a bunch of scavs. So we might be able to find a dead one. Constantly listening out for something else. Just in case we hear something. But really, right now I feel like we've not got enough in our bags to warrant leaving. As much as I really want this graphics card. You need 7 of them. My bad. 7 of them for a quest. And then 50 total if you want to fully upgrade your Bitcoin farm in your hideout. And I'm on 28 so far. So having another one for free is pretty nice. They sell for like 300k. So if you're just looking for some cash early on, they're not a bad thing to grab and sell. In this little store we have another weapons crate. Got some bandages, a mag for 5.45 guns, more bandages, nothing that we want to take right now. Nothing worth money. This can sometimes spawn stuff on the shelf here. But alas, nothing for us right now. I also like closing doors behind me just to have a noise cue for when someone's nearby. So here's that M4 guy. We accidentally went a bit too close to him. It sounds like he's in this big store here. There's also silent shots going over there. So what we're gonna do is instead of looking in here, I just noticed this green tea. We'll take that just in case. I like taking food items and drink items purely because they can be useful if you take a long time in raid, whether you're on a scav run or on a PMC run. Because your hydration and your energy levels go down pretty quick. And I'm pretty sure green tea is pretty good for both. You get... Oh, never mind, I'm wrong. You only get 15 hydration from it, so... It's nice in a pinch, but it's not gonna fill up your hydration levels that much. So what we're gonna do, because of that M4 shot kind of scaring the living daylights out of me, I'm gonna go through the backs of the store to this loading bay area. There's some nice loot that can spawn in here, especially if you're building stuff for your hideout. These shelves and the toolboxes all have stuff that you need for it, which is kind of a double good thing because they sell for decent amounts. Even now, this late into the wipe, they're selling for an okay amount. In these storage containers, you've got this ammo box and some weapon crates. Out of these two, the PS, not great ammo. The SP6, I use that a lot, and it's a half decent ammo for the VSS or the AS-FAL. We'll take those. We'll check this grenade box as well. We've only got 2 slots left. We're not going to take a smoke grenade. They don't sell for that much. You can use them, I've noticed, in the hideout to craft some green gunpowder, as well as 2 of the M67, I believe they are, grenades. Not these ones that we have right now, and not the pineapple-y looking F1 grenades. So that one has a container back here. Through around this corner, we also have another weapons crate. We've got some ammo there. Nope, it's milk. It's completely different from ammo. So, a lunchbox, a rail for the Mosin, I believe, another rail, an FMJ ammo. Nothing there we want to take. There's 2 more crates we can look at here. Just taking our time. We're not in any rush. The rain that started is making things a bit harder to hear. Unfortunately, it sounds like the M4 guy's getting a bit closer. D-fuel's worth an okay amount. Hard drives, not useful. Bolts I take for a craft in the hideout. You can craft magazine boxes with them, so I find bolts useful, but if anything else happens to be quite nice, we end up dropping the bolts pretty quickly. I messed up that jump, but I'm not going to try it again because it's quite loud trying to do. Back in that corner is another weapons crate. But because I feel like the M4 guy is coming this way, I'm going to stop making a whole lot of noise and be a bit more careful. And that's... okay. He's still in the back of Ollie, so let's get us moving while he's distracted and fighting something. It might be high time we made it out. So we'll go down here. This area, next to the Emercom extract, usually has quite a decent number of scavs around it. Down here, sometimes they hide over there. They patrol up there. And they have been known to kind of patrol out here as well, even down there, which is quite scary. Always, always check this ramp. There's usually quite a lot of fights that have happened there. Dead bodies, even if they're dead scavs. It's a dangerous place, and I hate spawning there, because I always end up having a horrible, horrible time, or get killed immediately when I try and walk up there. Now, as we are heading to this extraction, and because it is nighttime, with it being very dark, I feel safe enough to check this secret stash right here. Secret stashes tend to have some good luck when you check them for some nice things. So we'll take the light bulb, a hideout item. A Glock's not bad either. And we'll mosey on out of here. Right towards the extraction. Though people like to sit and wait for people extracting. So always take a little bit of time and care watching. Just to see if you're seeing anyone moving to extraction, listening out for someone who might be waiting, checking these tents and stuff like that. So we're in our extraction zone, we're waiting a little bit, and we're safely out. So for the first time we've done this little series, it's been a bit quiet. We avoided PvP on our scav run to try and ensure we came out with a bit of money. And we did. We managed to survive. Ideally, you want to spend some time doing things a bit longer. I was a bit too close to that guy that sounded like he had a decent M4. So I was less concerned with looking for a bigger bag and stuff like that, and more concerned with getting out with that graphics card, because that's kind of high priority for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that down here in my stash, just so I don't have to accidentally sell it or something. Anything else I need, so these things all getting sold, so I'm putting these up here. These grenades we want to keep, that's money we don't need to spend. Meds, unfortunately my med box up here is full, so I'll mosey on down here. Put it in my spare. Oh, I guess that's full too. So, put them in my hideout healing. We're popping our bolts in our scav junk box, just because we're saving those up. Scav junk box is a bit of a mess, but it's stuff we're keeping. Our SP6 can go in my ammo crate that I'm keeping for that stuff, because we kind of want to do some pistol runs at some point. I'm saving the Glock. We're going to sell the ADAR. We're going to sell this Saiga 9 because we don't want that, as well as the mag for it. The defuel can go up there. Don't really use flashbangs, so that can go away. Unfortunately, I don't have all the space up here because I'm keeping these here for God knows what reason. So the rest of the stuff we can put down here, separate from everything, so I know I don't want to keep it. And the knife as well. I feel like even if you're kind of experienced with the game, it's best to just take everything off your scav if you can fit it in, because it's all money. Why not? If you're not going to use it, you can sell it. So I feel like it's always a good idea. So for this episode, at the very least for this episode, I'll go through how I like to sell things and what I like to do with the loot as well. So once we load in, we can get to our proper stash loadout. And here we are. So what I'm going to do is disassemble these two guns, because we're not going to use them, we're going to sell them. And because of the little disassemble button, it's a lot quicker. So I start off by selling stuff to Skier. Sell all the things that he buys. And then we pop over to Mechanic. And sell all the weapon parts to him. I'm not wanting to sell the barter items to him, purely because we can make a little bit extra money for that. Jaeger buys melee weapons for a bit more than the fence used to, so we can sell that to him. And here we are. This is our money. Unfortunately, the only person that gives you decent money for flashbangs is Proper, so we'll sell that to him. And now we've got these. So I can't fit all of these onto the flea market right now, but what we can do is filter by item. See, dry fuel seems to be pretty worth it for a 1 slot value, so I don't tend to go for the lowest amount, because I can usually squeeze out a bit more. These 65,000 ones are going up now, so I think I can squeeze a bit more out of that as well. So we'll go for 66,500. Pop that up there. Search for the G-Phone. G-Phone, specifically, I feel like is one of the items that I'm going to check a bit more info for. So it goes for about 14-15k. It's almost as much as Therapisters. So if I feel like I don't want to sell it for cheaper, I will just sell to Therapist. There's certain barter items that do that, but we'll get a little bit more. We can squeeze a little bit more out of this, so we can do 14,800, and that'll give us a little bit more money from than just selling to Therapist. These Nikons or Nixor, they sell for a decent amount as well, so it's not been bad. It's not been a bad little run. We'll do the gas analyzer because I know that's quite a hot item on the flea market. We'll sell for 23,900 on this one. And unfortunately, I've filled all my offer slots. I've got 4 because of my rating up here being 1681. It's not so bad. And we have all our offers here, all barter items. So our dry fuel's up, listed, not sold quite yet, and the rest are going up momentarily. So there goes one. We can add our offer for our light bulb. So we can filter by offer, go back to the browse section. It's another 20k. So we can do 19,250, and that should sell nicely. So, always remember to just grab your cash after you've sold it. So we've made at least 100k. Things selling again. If we just pop over to my offers again and look at this, we'll make about 150k, maybe a little bit more, for a completely free scav run. That's not too bad. It's actually maybe closer to 200k because I'm bad at maths. But yeah, there's a scav run in Tarkov that I do. Because I can. I'm going to put these grenades on my PMC. He's all loaded up and ready to go on a run, aside from hotkeying my meds. So, thank you all for checking out my first little episode, the little pilot of a raid with Sitoxity. Thank you for coming along with my raid. Next time, I will definitely be doing a PMC run, just to show a little bit different with a little bit more focus. We can talk about tasks, we can talk about how I play PMC runs a little bit differently than scav runs, and maybe we can go back and forth depending on what our scav has, because for me at least, the loadout of my scav kind of dictates what I want to do with him and how I'm going to play with him. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. So this should be a bit of a weekly series. It'll go up basically once a week. We'll do a little bit of talking, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it will continue for a good amount of time. So I just want to say thanks again, and I guess I'll see you next time.